The Galactic court was silent in a way that felt heavy, almost painful, as thousands of alien eyes watched a single human standing in the center of the chamber. Commander Ryland did not move, did not shake, and did not look away from the High Council who sat above him on a glowing platform. He knew he was innocent, but innocence meant nothing here, not today. The chamber itself was massive, shaped like a round arena with floating seats and long light pillars rising toward the ceiling. Every sound echoed, even breathing. Every alien species from every known world had sent a representative to witness the trial, and most of them believed the same thing: that humanity was dangerous, unpredictable, and guilty. The lead counselor, a tall, insect-like being named Vorkel, lifted his metallic staff, and the lights dimmed, his voice echoing across the room. "Commander Ryland of Earth, you stand accused of destroying the Zaltron research base." A low wave of murmurs swept through the crowd, some shocked, some satisfied, some afraid. Ryland raised his head, his voice steady. Humanity did not attack that base. Another counselor, a glowing energy being called Sarah Lith, leaned forward. "We have evidence your ship was near the base moments before it exploded." Ryland shook his head. "My ship was responding to a distress signal." But nobody wanted to believe that, not when fear had already filled their minds. A giant holoscreen lit up above the court, showing an image of the destroyed alien base, twisted metal and burning structures floating in space. Pieces of debris drifted slowly, like frozen ghosts of lives lost. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Vorkel slammed his staff. "Silence!" he commanded. But the artifact ignored the council. The symbols rearranged themselves, forming a single glowing message, a message in ancient Terran script, a language lost for thousands of years. Only Ryland could read it. "Human, not enemy." The chamber fell silent again, so silent that even breathing felt loud. Every alien stared at the words, unable to understand how a human language appeared from an alien artifact. Ryland stepped forward slowly, his voice low but steady, as he read the next line. "Enemy hides in shadows." Gasps filled the chamber. Fear replaced anger. Confusion replaced confidence. The artifact pulsed again, sending another warm wave through the air. The lights dimmed until only the golden glow remained. Everyone watched, breathless, waiting for what would happen next. The artifact cracked open slightly, releasing a beam of light that pointed directly at Commander Ryland. Some aliens screamed, guards raised weapons, Vorkel stepped back. And then the artifact spoke, its voice echoing in every mind. "The human speaks the truth." The chamber exploded in shock, and the trial of the century shifted in a single heartbeat. The chamber was still shaking when the artifact finished its message. Every alien in the room stared at it in frozen confusion, unable to understand how an ancient device could speak with such authority. The idea that a human might be innocent was already creating fear among the council members, because admitting that would mean admitting they were wrong. Commander Ryland stayed completely still, letting the shock settle across the council. He knew he had to stay calm. The smallest mistake could be twisted into guilt again. Vorkel slammed his staff, sparks shooting from the impact. His voice trembled with anger. "This means nothing. Artifacts can be corrupted. We cannot trust a device found at a destroyed base." But the artifact responded before anyone else could speak. A deep humming sound filled the court, and the golden cracks flashed brighter, like a heartbeat speeding up. A beam of light shot out and formed a floating screen in the center of the chamber. Everyone went silent. Their eyes widened as strange symbols and images began to appear. The first image showed a network of glowing lines, like star paths stretching across the galaxy. Then the lines collapsed into chaos, shadows spreading outward from a single point. But what caught everyone's attention were the symbols appearing on the edges of the projection, the same ancient Terran symbols Ryland recognized earlier. Saralith, the glowing counselor, floated slightly forward, her voice softer now. "These symbols do not belong to any known species." Another counselor whispered, "Then why do they match human cave drawings?" That question hung in the air like a silent storm. The artifact projected another image. This time it showed a distant figure, blurry and shifting as if trying to hide. The shape flickered between forms, sometimes tall, sometimes short, sometimes wide, sometimes thin. Rylan narrowed his eyes. That is not a human. That is something changing shape. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The idea of shapeshifters had always existed in galactic rumors, but no solid proof had ever been found. Now the artifact was showing it clearly. Vorkel tried to interrupt. This could be an illusion created by humans. But again, the artifact reacted sharply. The projection pulsed once, releasing a short wave of energy that made every floating seat shake, as if warning them to be silent. Then it switched to a new scene, a recording, a real memory fragment from the destroyed base. The image showed the Zoltron research base just minutes before the explosion. Scientists walking, machines humming, bright lights glowing. And then the shadowy shapeshifter entered the scene, blending into the background, moving with unnatural speed. Everyone leaned forward, breath frozen. The creature lifted an arm and released the strange, swirling beam of energy at the base's core reactor. The reactor began to overload, alarms flashing and people running. More creatures appeared, each one shifting shape rapidly, using forms from different species, some with human-like silhouettes, some looking like other aliens. Rylan felt the air leave his chest. The Council had accused humanity because the creatures had mimicked a human form. The artifact projected the final moment of the base, the explosion sending a massive energy wave outward, debris flying, the base collapsing. Then the image froze, and the artifact displayed a message in ancient Terran symbols. Attack not human. False shape used. Truth must be shown. The chamber turned completely silent. Even the automated lights did not dare flicker. The message was too clear and too powerful. Saralith finally spoke, her voice trembling. Commander Rylan, how does your species know this ancient language? Rylan shook his head slowly. We don't know it, not fully. These symbols were found on Earth in old ruins, older than any human civilization. No one knows who made them. Another counselor whispered, or maybe humanity forgot who made them. The idea hit the chamber like lightning. The artifact glowed brighter again, as if answering the thought. It shifted the projection to something no one expected. A spinning image of Earth, shining blue and white, but older, untouched, thousands of years before modern history. Around the ancient Earth, tiny lights appeared, small craft-like shapes orbiting the planet. Aliens gasped loudly. Some even stood from their seats in shock. Vorkel growled, "This is impossible. This cannot be real." The artifact did not care about his denial. It displayed another sentence. Human, home, watched by ancients. Rylan whispered under his breath, Ancients? Did they protect Earth? The artifact did not answer directly. Instead, it formed a new message that echoed across the chamber like a calm voice, speaking to everyone at once. Human, not enemy. Enemy hides in the shadows. Find the hidden threat. The golden light faded slightly, and the heartbeat-like humming slowed to a quieter rhythm. The force of the message settled deep into every mind present. Some aliens looked terrified, others ashamed, others confused. But one thing was certain. Humanity was no longer the easy target they wanted it to be. Vorkel tried to regain control. This artifact is ancient and unstable. We should seal it and ignore these projections. But the artifact's golden light flared sharply, and a beam shot directly at a nearby console, unlocking the next projection before Vorkel could finish his sentence. The new image revealed a hidden star system, marked with glowing coordinates. It was a place not found on any galactic map, a place completely erased from records. Rylan felt a cold shiver run through him. He knew what the artifact was showing. A place where the shapeshifters are gathering. A place where the truth is buried. And the artifact wanted humanity to find it. The chamber watched in silence as the projection zoomed in on the hidden system, showing dark structures, energy signatures, and moving shadows. The artifact gave one final message before turning dim, its voice echoing in every mind once more. Truth begins in the dark. And then the artifact fell silent again, leaving the entire galaxy trembling with the weight of the truth.
The chamber remained silent long after the artifact dimmed again. Every alien stared at the floating image of the hidden star system. The coordinates glowed like a secret that should never have been discovered. Commander Ryland stood still, feeling the weight of the artifact's message inside his chest. He knew what it meant. Humanity had been framed, and something far more dangerous was hiding in the darkness. But the Council did not recover easily. Vorkel slammed his staff on the ground, sparks flying. This means nothing. A single artifact does not decide galactic law. Many aliens flinched at his voice, but the mood in the chamber had changed. No one looked at Ryland with hatred anymore. Now they looked at him with confusion, fear, and curiosity. Seralith spoke softly. The artifact has shown evidence we have never seen before. We cannot ignore it. Another counselor stood up, anger shaking his voice. Are you suggesting we trust a device over the entire Galactic Council? Seralith answered calmly. I am suggesting we trust the truth. Ryland watched the council argue among themselves, their unity breaking like cracked glass. For the first time, he saw fear in their eyes. Not fear of humanity, but fear of something else, something hidden, something unknown. The artifact flickered again as if reminding them it was still listening. The projection expanded, showing more details of the hidden system. Strange towers, energy signatures, and clusters of ships that looked organic, not metallic. Ryland stepped closer. These structures are not human. They do not belong to any species we know. Seralith nodded. Yet the creatures shown in the memory fragment matched the shadows at this location. A hush fell over the room. A new projection appeared, showing shapeshifters moving inside the base before its destruction. This time, the image zoomed into their bodies, revealing swirling patterns of unstable energy beneath their skin. Seralith's voice shook. These creatures are not simply shapeshifters. They mimic energy signatures too. Ryland understood instantly. That means they can pretend to be human ships, alien ships, any species, any fleet. Murmurs of pure fear spread across the chamber. Aliens now understood what that meant. If a creature could mimic any technology, any form, any weapon, then every empire in the galaxy had been vulnerable for years without knowing it. Vorkel tried to stop the panic. These recordings may be manipulated. But the artifact responded instantly. A sharp flash of light shot into the center of the chamber, creating a new hologram of a destroyed alien cruiser drifting in space. The hull was torn open from the inside, and strange marks covered the metal, like melting shadows had eaten through it. The marks matched the same patterns on the shapeshifters' bodies. The hologram repeated one word in ancient Terran symbols. Same enemy. A counselor whispered, "These attacks happened in our sectors too, but we blamed pirates." Another said, "We blamed rebels." Another said, "We blamed humanity." Silence fell again. A heavy silence filled with guilt. Ryland spoke quietly. They wanted us to blame each other. They wanted war between us. Seralith turned to him, her voice soft. "Why humanity, Commander? Why did they frame your species?" Ryland took a breath, looking at the glowing symbols still floating in the air. "Humanity is new in the galaxy," he said. "We grow fast, think fast, adapt fast, and we don't fear change. That makes us unpredictable." The artifact pulsed once, confirming his words. Another message formed. Human, strong mind. Enemy, fear, unity. Truth must rise. Aliens leaned forward, reading each word with widening eyes. The artifact changed the projection again, showing a massive underground complex in the hidden star system. Inside it, hundreds of shapeshifters gathered around a strange machine, a device connected to energy channels stretching across space. Ryland narrowed his eyes. "They are building something." Seralith whispered, "A weapon, perhaps." The artifact slowly zoomed in on the machine, revealing dark symbols carved into its surface, symbols matching ancient Terran markings. Ryland froze. Why would they use our ancient symbols? The artifact gave another quick flash, forming a sentence. Ancients known to them. Human history linked. Gasps filled the chamber again. Some aliens looked at Ryland with a new expression, respect mixed with uncertainty. Others looked afraid of what ancient human history might mean. Vorkel finally lost his patience. "This is chaos. We cannot trust these visions. Humanity must still answer for its actions." But Ryland stepped forward, his voice firm and loud. "What actions? The artifact proved the enemy mimicked us. The evidence is clear." And for the first time, many council members agreed with him, nodding slowly. The artifact had shown too much truth to ignore. Sarah Lith raised her hand, glowing softly. "Commander Rylan, the artifact revealed a hidden enemy that threatens the galaxy. What will humanity do?" Rylan did not hesitate. "We will help," he said. "But we need access to the coordinates, and we need to study the artifact with proper equipment." Vorkel shouted, "Absolutely not!" The artifact cut him off with a bright beam of golden light, forming another message. "Human, lead. Truth, follow." The chamber erupted again in chaos, but this time the chaos was not against humanity. It was against the fear of what lay in the hidden system. The artifact dimmed slowly, settling like a sleeping guardian waiting for the next step. Rylan looked at it, knowing the message was clear. Humanity was being asked to uncover the truth, to face the hidden enemy, and to lead the galaxy into a danger no one wanted to admit existed. Sarah Lith stepped closer. "Commander Rylan, prepare yourself. The council will vote." Rylan nodded, knowing the moment could change everything. If the vote went against him, humanity would face punishment again. But if it went in his favor, then humanity would lead the hunt for the hidden enemy, and the entire galaxy would follow.
The council chamber felt different when the vote finally ended. The air was heavier, filled with fear and uncertainty. But for the first time since the trial began, it was not fear of humanity. It was fear of the hidden enemy the artifact had revealed. Sarah Lith floated forward and announced the result. "The council has voted. Commander Ryland and a small human-led investigation team will travel to the hidden star system." Gasps echoed through the hall. Some aliens were relieved, some terrified, some confused, but no one dared challenge the artifact's message, not after seeing the truth with their own eyes. Vorkel slammed his staff in frustration. "This is a mistake," he hissed. "Humans cannot be trusted with such power." But the artifact pulsed weakly, even in its dim state, as if responding to him. Ryland stepped forward, keeping his voice calm. "We do not seek power. We seek the truth, and we want to stop the enemy who destroyed your base." Those words silenced even Vorkel. Moments later, guards escorted Rylan out of the chamber. But this time, they did not walk ahead of him as prisoners do. They walked beside him, respectful and uncertain. The artifact hovered behind him, on its floating platform, its golden cracks glowing faintly, like a heartbeat resting after battle. Outside the court, hundreds of reporters and diplomats gathered, bright lights flashing, as they tried to capture the human who just changed galactic politics. But Rylan ignored them. He had bigger concerns. He needed his ship, his crew, and a plan. The human fleet arrived. When Rylan entered the docking bay, he paused, his breath catching slightly. A small but powerful human fleet was already waiting, 3 sleek corvettes and 1 heavy cruiser. The closest ship displayed the name Horizon Spear, shining proudly under the bay lights. His crew saluted as he approached. Lieutenant Mara, a sharp-eyed woman with calm confidence, stepped forward. "Commander, we received the Council's authorization. The ship is ready." Rylan nodded. "Good. We leave in 1 hour." Mara looked at the artifact hovering behind him, its glow reflecting in her eyes. "Sir, is it true? Did that thing really defend us?" Rylan answered quietly. "Yes, and it's not done. The journey into the unknown." The Horizon Spear broke through the docking field and entered open space, followed by 2 support ships. The artifact was placed in a secure chamber deep inside the cruiser, connected to small scanners and monitors, but it remained silent as if conserving its energy. The journey to the hidden system would take several hours. The crew moved with controlled urgency, knowing the mission was dangerous. No one knew what waited for them. No one knew how strong the shapeshifters were, but humanity had to be the one to lead. Inside the command center, Ryland studied the coordinates the artifact had projected. Strange grids and unknown energy fields surrounding the mysterious system. Mara looked over his shoulder. "Sir, these readings are unstable. It feels like the system is hiding behind a veil." Ryland nodded. "A veil created by advanced technology." Just then, a soft hum vibrated through the ship. The artifact was waking up again. Ryland rushed to the artifact chamber. The golden cracks brightened again, and symbols formed in the air like glowing dust. The artifact projected a small path, a route through the strange energy fields around the hidden system. It displayed warnings, flashing red symbols that pulsed like danger signs. Mara frowned. "It's showing us safe lanes through the distortion." Ryland sighed in relief. "Then we follow it." The fleet entered the distortion cloud. Space warped around them, lights bending, stars stretching like long trails. Some crew members held on to their stations as the ship shook violently. Mara shouted, "Shields are holding, but barely." Ryland gripped the command rail. "Stay on the artifact's path." After several minutes of chaos, the shaking stopped and the distortion cleared, revealing a dark, eerie star system ahead. Everyone stared in shock. Ryland whispered, "This is not natural." The artifact pulsed once, sending a beam toward the largest structure. It projected a message in the air. "Enemy strong here. Truth below." Mara swallowed nervously. "Sir, I'm picking up hundreds of strange life signs." Ryland nodded slowly. "Shapeshifters." Another message appeared from the artifact. "Ancient ruin deep. Find truth." Ryland turned to his crew, his voice steady. "Prepare a landing team. We're going down there." Descent into darkness. A shuttle broke away from the horizon spear and descended toward a massive central structure. It looked like part metal, part organic, as if it had grown and been built at the same time. Inside the shuttle, Ryland checked his equipment. Mara sat beside him, scanning their surroundings with tense eyes. The artifact floated in the center, glowing brighter the closer they got to the ruin. The moment the shuttle touched the platform, the ground shook, echoing with hollow vibrations. Ryland stepped out first, feeling the cold, unnatural air. Shadows moved across the walls, although nothing was there. Suddenly, the artifact flashed violently, projecting a warning. "Enemy near." Ryland raised his weapon, and his crew formed a defensive circle. From the darkness ahead, shapes began to form, twisting, bending, shifting into different bodies as they approached, their eyes glowing like small suns. Mara whispered, "Sir, they were waiting for us." Ryland tightened his grip. "Good," he said quietly, "because we came for them." The artifact pulsed again, this time stronger, forming a final message before the confrontation began. Truth buried inside. Win or darkness spreads. The shadows lunged forward and the battle for the truth began in the heart of the hidden enemy's world.
Shadows rushed toward the landing team like living darkness, their bodies twisting and stretching as they changed shape with every step. Some looked human, some looked alien, and some had no recognizable form at all, glowing with strange purple lines under their skin. Commander Ryland did not hesitate. "Hold the line," he shouted, his voice echoing across the ruined platform like steel striking metal. Weapons fired, beams of blue and white slicing through the dark, but the shapeshifters moved fast. Their bodies bent unnaturally, dodging shots before forming new shapes to counterattack. Mara swung her rifle and fired at a creature shifting into a human silhouette.
"They keep trying to copy us," she said through clenched teeth. Rylan answered, "Because they want to confuse us. Do not let them." The artifact floated above the battlefield, its golden light growing brighter with each second, as if feeding on the tension, the danger, and the truth hidden below the ruin. Then it pulsed sharply, sending out a sound wave that shook the entire structure. The shapeshifters screamed, their bodies flickering like shadows caught in a storm. The artifact projected a message in strong golden symbols. "Weak to light. Truth burns shadows." Rylan shouted, "Increase weapon brightness. Switch to photon mode." The humans adjusted their weapons, and the next blasts of light hit the shapeshifters like fire. Their bodies melted, twisting into dark smoke that faded into nothingness. With the immediate threat pushed back, the platform fell silent again. The artifact moved forward, guiding Rylan and the team toward a massive door carved with ancient symbols. These symbols were the same ones found in human caves, the same ones from the artifact's earlier projections. Mara touched the wall gently. "Sir, these symbols were on Earth thousands of years ago." Rylan nodded slowly. "The ancients were here too." The artifact projected another message as its golden glow touched the door. Ancient truth inside, human history linked. The door broke apart with a thunderous crack, revealing a long, descending tunnel glowing with soft blue light. The team entered cautiously, weapons raised. Every step felt heavier, as if the entire ruin was watching them, waiting. At the end of the tunnel, they reached a massive chamber, and when the lights activated, everyone froze in disbelief. Rows of ancient pods lined the walls, each pod holding skeleton-like remains of a tall humanoid species. Their bones were similar to humans, but not exactly human. Longer limbs, broader skulls, and markings etched into the bone like old tattoos. Mara whispered, "Who were they?" Rylan stared at the closest pod. "Maybe. The ones who watched Earth." The artifact floated to the center of the chamber and suddenly glowed so bright that the entire room filled with gold. Then, the last and strongest message appeared, written in ancient Terran symbols, filling the air like a forgotten prophecy returning home. Ancients created guardians, humans born from guardians, shadows fear human mind. Rylan stepped back, stunned. We came from them!" The artifact pulsed gently, confirming every word. Another projection appeared, showing the past, a time before recorded history. The ancients fought against the shapeshifters long ago, but they were losing. In desperation, they created early humans on Earth, hoping that humanity would grow in a safe place, far from the darkness. Ryland whispered, "They wanted us to finish the fight they could not win." The next moment, the chamber shook violently as alarms blared across the ruin. Mara shouted, "Sir, the shapeshifters are regrouping." The artifact delivered one final message, urgent and powerful. "Activate Star Engine, spread truth to all." A hidden panel opened beneath the artifact, revealing a control core, glowing with ancient energy. Rylan placed his hand on it, feeling warmth rush through his fingers. The ancient star engine roared to life, energy blasting upward through the ruin, tearing apart the ceiling and shooting into space. The light spread like a golden wave, reaching every ship in the system, and then farther. Across the entire galaxy, every empire, every council, every station saw the truth. The projection played everywhere, showing the shapeshifters destroying the base, showing the ancient war, showing the ancients creating early humans, showing humanity's real origin as the final guardians, and showing Rylan fighting in the heart of the hidden system, leading the defense against the enemy. The galaxy changed in a single moment. Back on the ruined platform, shapeshifters screamed as the golden truth wave hit them, their bodies collapsing into dust, unable to hide anymore. Mara stood beside Rylan, breathing hard. "Sir, we did it! The galaxy knows now!" Rylan nodded, looking up at the endless golden beam. The artifact gave the truth to everyone. The ruin began to crumble as the star engine overloaded. "Evacuate!" Ryland ordered, his voice steady even as the ground shook violently. The team rushed back to the shuttle, the artifact following behind them, glowing brighter than ever. The shuttle broke free just as the entire structure exploded, sending a shockwave of dust and light into space. The Horizon Spear opened its hangar, pulling the shuttle inside.
The entire human fleet watched as the hidden system collapsed behind them. The artifact dimmed slowly, settling into peaceful silence, its mission complete. Rylan looked at it and whispered, "Thank you." Later, when they returned to the Galactic Court, the council chamber looked completely different. Aliens who once glared at humanity now stood with lowered heads. Sarah Lith spoke first, her voice filled with respect. "Commander Ryland, humanity has been declared innocent." Another counselor stepped forward. "Humanity is no longer the accused. Humanity is the galaxy's guardian." Ryland stood straight, knowing this moment was bigger than him, bigger than Earth. The artifact gave one last faint message, barely a whisper of golden light. Darkness not gone, more truths wait. And then it went silent again. The galaxy now looked to humanity, not with fear, but with hope, and Commander Rylan knew their story was just beginning.